Well, that last statement, which was given by the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Buhari, saying that she will support female contestants, is quite telling, because in her home state of Adamawa, a woman candidate has emerged, the candidate of the All Progressives Congress. So it will be quite a battle to see what eventually happens in her home state. But this morning, we're talking about the participation of women in general in politics. In not too many places have we seen women emerge as candidates of political parties. What stands in their way? Well, we're speaking with somebody who should know this morning, herself a stalwart in the People's Democratic Party. I have the honor to introduce Hajia Maryam Ciroma, who is a member of the People's Democratic Party Board of Trustees and also a former Minister for Women Affairs. She also recently contested to be the Deputy National Chairman of the People's Democratic Party for the Northern Region. Ma'am, you're welcome to Sunrise Daily this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, what period it has been for women. There's been quite a number of agitations this year alone. Even before we entered the political season, we saw what happened with the Constitution Amendment process and how it would seem that gender wasn't quite mainstream. Some of the requests that women had made that they be, mainstreamed into the Constitution wasn't quite heeded to. So the agitation this year has been quite loud on the part of the women. I think that happened on the 1st of March, which was also the Women's Month. Yes. So far, so good, though. Are you quite impressed with the level of participation you're seeing amongst the women folk and the emergence of women as candidates for the upcoming elections in 2023?
Honestly, a lot of women leaders in this country are not happy with what is going on in our country regarding female participation in politics. We have always agitated that space must be created for Nigerian women to participate effectively in the governance of their country. But up till now, we have not achieved that. That is it. Because I know historically, Nigerian women were in fact, they are the people that started the agitation for independence in this country. We know that it was the Aba women's right that propelled independence in Nigeria. And since then, up to today, the men have not given us our rightful position in political participation in this country. Therefore, this year alone, I remember we escorted the First Lady to visit the two chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives. You
were with the First Lady on that trip? That is regardless of the fact that you're a stalwart in the PDP?
Yes, because as far as we are concerned, it is women's issue. It has nothing to do with political party. And as the First Lady of this country, she's our leader. So we followed her to the National Assembly to plead with the National Assembly to please amend the Constitution to include the actualization of the 35% affirmative action. And they promised that they are going to effect it. But it never happened. And Nigerian women are not happy with that process. So we are still insisting that women should be included. The just concluded primaries of the political parties is nothing to write home about. We are not happy. Beginning of this political era, at least in 1999 to 2007, we had about 9 female senators, quite a number of House of Representative members, but it is declining. Instead of it to be rising, it's declining. Therefore, we are not happy. Nigeria belongs to all of us, and I always tell people that we go to school with these men, from primary school up to university. We sit exams with them, and because you are a woman does not mean that your brain is less effective than that of a man. So we feel that space should be created for Nigerian women to participate in politics. Globally, things are changing, and Nigeria cannot be left behind.
But you have grown to the position of a stalwart. I mean, even though it would seem that largely a lot of the positions that you have occupied have been, confined to women. For instance, you were national woman leader in your own party. You have been Minister for Women Affairs. When you eventually decided to get into the terrain, the turf, which would seem like as if you were competing with the men. What kind of obstacles would you say you came against?
Actually, I even contested for the Senate in my state, Southern Borno Senatorial Zone, in 2003. In the primaries, actually, I emerged, but then there was going to be a runoff between myself and my co-contestant. And at that point, the PDP had a policy that if you have two contestants, and a man and a female, and they came neck to neck, they will give the ticket to the female. That was an encouraging policy of the party. Unfortunately, in my own case, it was not effected. So I could not get the ticket.
It was not affected?
No.
So it was only a policy in mouth?
It was, some women were able to get it, but in my own case, you know, as usual, the men, they ganged up to say that my emirate, that's the emirate, they always produce the deputy governor, and they will not accept the senatorial seat. So it became an issue, but that was it, and I was denied the ticket, but that did not discourage me. I said, well, we have to fight on. And up till now, as we are talking, we know that women are finding it very difficult. Apart from the ganging up of the men to stop women that want to contest, there's also the issue of financial. The women are not really financially capable to venture into politics, because in Nigeria, politics is all about having money to buy votes, and it's not easy for the women. But then, it does not mean that we can't come and support the women. Men do support themselves. And if a woman is capable, why can't men also support a capable woman? Because we are talking of people that have credibility, people that can deliver, people that can help governance of this country. Women can do it. We have so many women in the economic sector. We have women in the civil service that have proven their worth in this country. So why can't we support women in politics?
It's a big question. Tell us about your last experience when you decided to be Deputy National Chairman North of your party.
Actually, it was a very tough fight, because the PDP used to have two Deputy National Chairmen in the country, one North, one South. And then at a point, it was jettisoned. But then, 2017, they brought the idea back. And in one of our very high-profile meetings, the men came up with the idea that, well, if we have two deputies, why can't we have one, a woman? And they agreed that one should be a woman. The matter was even brought before the the NEC of the party. I was there. And some of our governors pleaded that, please, one of the positions for the Deputy National Chairman should be a woman. Why? Because in the National Working Committee, we have 18 members. Out of the 18 members, only one woman, national woman leader. Because the Deputy National Woman Leader is not a member of the Working Committee. Only National Woman Leader is a member of the National Working Committee. It's not enough. We need more women voice in the National Working Committee. So why don't we give at least the Deputy National Chairman one to the women? So it was zoned to the north and then northeast. And I happened to come from northeast. So the women now said, Hajia, please contest that position, because it's now for the women. And I indicated interest to contest. And a lot of women supported the idea that it should be. And the women, you cannot believe it, they came together, paid for the form, 3 million naira. They paid for it. They said, you don't need to, because it's our position, you don't have to pay kobo for it. So they bought the forms for me, and we indicated it, we submitted the forms. I was screened, and I was cleared to contest. And you cannot believe it. Some of our leaders could not accept a woman to be deputy, not the national chairman, or the deputy national chairman. It became a serious issue for them. How can we have a woman to be a deputy national chairman of the party? So they ganged up, and they insisted, they even invited me that I should go there. They pleaded that I should step down. I said, no, I cannot step down. It's not about me. It's not my position. It's the women. You need to talk to the women. If they say they are no longer interested in the position, I will step down. But I cannot step down. They tried as hard as they can. I refused. And they called the leaders of the party, now called a meeting of all the women leaders of the PDP, and we appeared before them. Because I told them, if the women agree to step down, I will step down. But if they refuse to agree, I'm going to go ahead and lose the election at the convention ground. I prefer to go and lose the election because politics is all about winning or losing. I don't care to lose the election. So we appeared before them and they pleaded, but the women also were adamant. They said we should go ahead. And we went to the convention. Of course, they had a unity list. And the unity list was the one that was used to ensure that some of us did not get the seat. So honestly, in fact, my sister, I would tell you this idea of election, that is the direct and indirect election. Nigeria should go for indirect election. Sorry, for direct election, where everybody will vote. Because if we talk of delegates, it will be difficult for women to get it. Because we all know what goes into conventions, into elections, congresses. We know what goes in there. So if we have direct election, it's Nigerian citizens that will go out and vote, and I'm sure they do not care whether you're a man or a woman, and as long as you go there and represent them, they will vote for you.
Let me flip this to Lagos now.
And good morning, Hajia. You talked about delegates list, and that's why I want to explore by looking at some of the roles that women themselves play in their own exclusion in the political space. The delegate system is a system where the women can themselves be influential. But in the campaign videos that we've seen of the aspirants going around the country, appealing to delegates and wooing delegates, we've seen very, very few number of women as delegates. Why are women not, trying to be part of delegates, to be elected as delegates?
Well, we all know that when we talk of delegates, elected as delegates, the truth of the matter is that even the delegate list are people that are just chosen by the leaders in the states. No real election normally takes place. They will submit list of people they want to be delegates because they want to control who becomes what. These delegates are also controlled by their leaders in their states. That is why you do not find a lot of women as delegates in the parties. So that's why I say that there must be direct election where people are elected to represent their constituencies. But if you have delegates that will go there and conduct the election, definitely we have very few women in the list because
the first qualification
give.
But the first qualification for being a delegate is that you're a member of a political party. Perhaps registration for membership from the women folk is few and far between. Hence, they've excluded themselves from that process already.
No, a lot of women register to be members of political parties. We have a lot of them as members of the political parties. When we go for elections, you will find a lot of women coming out. In fact, in the PDP, the national woman leader organized a meeting with our female aspirants. And you cannot believe it, we had about 250 aspirants contesting for various positions in the country, from the House of Rep to state assemblies, the Senate, even the presidential candidate. So we had a lot of women that came forward to contest for these elections. So it's not as if women are not presenting themselves for election. They are. But the thing is that they are always just distant.
How come the only female presidential aspirant in the PDP primary election got one vote, even if the party has very few women as delegates? Why didn't the female delegates that participated in the primary support their own?
That is quite true. I was there at the convention ground when she was making her own presentation. We were all very proud of her. We are very happy that at least we have a woman that is bold enough to contest for the office of the president. But unfortunately, politics is also about talking to people. You must go and converse for votes. People will vote for you, but even men can vote for you, but you need to go and converse for votes. You need to go and work with them, align with them, seek for their support. If you don't do it, you just go there and appear. A lot of people will not understand it and they may not support your idea. But we will appeal to our women leaders that want to contest for elections. They must also do the needful. They must go and seek the support of everybody, not only the female delegates, but the male delegates. Some of them believe in women. We have a he for she. So I believe that it's also, the onus is also on us to go and seek for their support and then present to them what we know we think we can offer to the system. So I think maybe the problem is that she did not maybe go out to seek the support of the delegates or whatever. I do not know what happened, but I know that she made a very brilliant presentation at the convention ground.
Which is why some would say that there are many women in this country who also have the financial muscle, the wherewithal to support one of their own. And part of winning the presidential primary is confidence building, going around the country and wooing delegates. So why didn't those women who have financial muscle support Madam Tari Oliver to present her mandate, to present her manifesto to delegates across the country, as we saw the men folk do during the campaign for election?
Honestly, I think I need to say this on the television because I was not even aware that we had a female contestant in the PDP. I was not aware. So as I said, there is need for reach out. You need to reach out to people to seek for their support. But unfortunately, some of us were not even aware that we had a female that is contesting for the presidential ticket. Otherwise, we'll advise her, we'll rally around her because as far as I'm concerned, it's history in the making. If she is able to get it, we'll all be very happy. Some other countries have achieved it. Why can't Nigeria achieve it? Why can't we have a female president? But we also need to do what the men are doing.
Well, Madam, there's this quote, of course, we threw that on air the other time from the United Nations Women, UN Women. And we're talking about women facing hurdles. Now, this is what it says right there on your screen. Women face several obstacles to participating in political life. Structural barriers through discriminatory laws and institutions still limit women's options to run for office. Capacity gaps mean women are less likely than men to have the education, contacts, and resources needed to become effective leaders. I'd like you to speak to some of these things, Madam, and how you think we can navigate around it. Of course, we know that, the National Assembly has been, well, women have been clamoring and engaging the National Assembly, and we've seen, what happened to those 5 women-centric bills, and which, of course, it will seem like the National Assembly is time to rethink or take a second look at. If you can speak to some of those, what the UN Women call structural barriers and capacity gaps, what do you think we should be doing to stem that tide? Because time is not waiting.
Yes, actually there are serious issues affecting women's participation, especially some of the issues that were raised by the UN Women. But for me, the educational gap, I don't think is an issue because a lot of women are very, very educated and well exposed to participate in politics. The laws and also traditional beliefs, because sometimes some people will tell you that the religion does not allow a woman to be a leader. And I don't think that is true, especially for the Muslim society. We have it in so many Islamic countries that women has emerged. Women, if you go to a country like Qatar, you'll find a lot of women in their law, the assemblies, their state assemblies or their state government as women as legislators. We had a woman as a president in a lot of Arab countries. So why can't a woman be a leader in Nigeria, we are not talking of being a leader in the masjid. You are not going to lead prayers. It's about administration. Therefore, the issue of saying that women should not lead because a religion does not allow a woman to lead, I don't think this is the issue. We need to be given the space to participate. As I said, if we are educated, we go to school together and we sit for exams together. In Nigeria, the Nigerian constitution is not discriminatory about employment. We have equal opportunities in the civil service. We have equal opportunities in the business sector. But why is it in politics? They will tell that she's a woman. They will now look at your gender and say she's a woman. So these are things that we need to look at. The men need to be fair to the female gender. Issue of saying that she's a woman, what stops her from becoming a leader if she's a woman? I was a minister. I will go to my office, I'll come home, look after my husband, look after my children, I will do my work. It does not affect the way you handle your house. It does not affect the way you manage your people. In fact, it adds value. They say educate a woman, you educate the whole society. Why don't we empower the women to also participate in politics effectively? This is our country, and we need to give in also to the development of this country, all of us. Yeah. So I know that there are some laws that also it's not in support of women's participation. These are laws that need to be looked into and eradicated. The National Assembly, we are pleading with them. We are pleading with the National Assembly to please go back to that issue of 35%, because they have their daughters, they have their sisters. Why would you want to deny your own daughter the right, her right in her country? So we need to look at this issue dispassionately and ensure that women are also carried along. So we are appealing to the National Assembly to go back to that issue of women's participation so that space could be, we are not saying 50-50. We are saying only 35%. So why should that be a problem?
You know, there are some who say that what you actually need to achieve what you want is a strategy, and that you can actually make them go back to it. But let me pick up on some of the things that you highlighted, while you were making your point. For instance, there's so many who may not know that Muslim women can be in leadership positions. Now, you just highlighted that, but are you doing anything? Is anything being done to ensure that those who don't know now know that, yes, you can rise up and play a very prominent role in politics?
Yes, there is the need to engage some of our religious leaders, because we need to engage them to enlighten the people about the true position of things in there as provided. Even culturally, I remember when I was a minister, I went to a region in this country and they told me that a woman cannot break a kola nut. A man should do it for you. In fact, they asked my police only to do it for me. And I felt that that is not right. But then it's the culture. That is what the culture says. So honestly, we need to look at those issues seriously. Because why should you say because she's a woman, she cannot do this? Where is God created us all, and we are there, we have all the capacities, God gave us all the capacities to be able to deliver. And I don't think it's right for somebody to say because she's a woman, she cannot do that. So we need to engage our leaders, we need to engage our religious leaders, we need to engage our political leaders to ensure that they realize that it's not fair for them to treat more than 50% of the population the way we are being treated.
So as we go into the 2023 polls, though, I mean, very few candidates have emerged. What would you be saying first to the candidates and also to the generality of the folk who will be voting for them?
Yeah, my advice to the candidates is that we need to network seriously. We need to canvass for votes, not only canvass for votes, but also engage our leaders, our male leaders, to support us. You have obtained the ticket, you have the ticket, but winning the election is also another issue. It's a big problem. So we need to network, we need to work together, we need to support each other. I was telling people that for me, political parties are there, our allegiance to our parties is there, but then If we have a woman contesting, we should all unite and support the woman. I used to say that Nigerian women, all of us must come together. All of us must come together and fight for our rights. We should, when we are able to achieve that, then our parties will be able to give us the space. But we have to come together and fight for it. So if we have female contestants, we must all support them so that they emerge. When they are in the National Assembly to decide or to make laws, the party is now at the background. Is the issue of gender. When we have issues affecting women and they are there to decide, they will decide for all Nigerian women. So I think we need to support each other seriously.
Well, ma'am, we have to thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Hajia Ina Maryam Ciroma is a member of the PDP Board of Trustees and also a former Minister of Women Affairs. Thank you so much for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.